We do start our show, though, with unfortunate news out of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark announced today that she will miss both the three-point contest and the WNBA All-Star Game this upcoming weekend in Indiana after re-aggravating a groin injury in that final minute.
And this picture that I just came across, I'm like, what are we doing? Kathy Engelbert, she came out. It ain't been that long ago, like 2 weeks ago. Refereeing's pretty good in this league. In what league? What league allows this?
Caitlin Clark was supposed to own All-Star Weekend. Indianapolis had printed her face on every street banner. The WNBA built TV spots around her three-point duel, and ticket resellers were banking on a once-in-a-generation spike. Then one groin pull turned the celebration into a warning siren. Fans who came for fireworks got a live injury reel, and every executive who called Clark the league's billion-dollar engine was suddenly checking return policies on confetti guns. How did it happen? Why did refs, coaches, and league brass watch the same slow-motion collisions the rest of us saw and still roll the dice? And most urgent of all, who steps in before that billion-dollar engine throws a rod? Tonight, we trace a straight line from an ignored whistle in June to a canceled victory lap in July and ask whether this will be the moment the W finally treats its stars like gold or like glass.
Hey, man, I got to keep it real, man. Shout out to the WNBA, man. Shout out to y'all for constantly fouling Caitlin Clark, constantly hurting her this season. Now we're halfway through the season at the All-Star game where she's supposed to be the team captain and playing, where she's supposed to be in the three-point contest. And it has been announced she is not going to because she needs to rest her body. Thank y'all. Y'all are doing a great job at growing this up sleep.
2 minutes left. Fever versus Sun, a game already tense from months of chirping. Clark slices baseline, flips a backdoor dime, and pivots to sprint the other way. Jacy Sheldon steps into her lane. A knee lifts awkwardly. Contact ripples through Clark's frame. No whistle, no review. On the broadcast, you can almost hear thousands of viewers shout at once. That's a foul.
Because I just finished watching the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game, and I swear every time these two teams go up against one another, something happens, and it's honestly never good. It's never good, and of course the biggest story of the night is the story that Caitlin Clark seems to have re-injured her groin.
Clark keeps moving, buries a deep three, then starts favoring her right leg. 30 seconds later, she doubles over, finds the padded stanchion, and presses her forehead to the foam. When she turns, her eyes are wet. Commentators go silent, and social media lights up like a slot machine. Still no whistle, no flagrant, no explanation. That knee lift wasn't the first hit. It was the latest entry on a growing ledger. Preseason quad strain, mid-May groin tweak, late May elbow to the ribs that shoved her 3 rows into photographers. 15 games in, Clark led the league in hard contacts, resulting in no upgrade. Opponents said they were just being physical. Fans posted side-by-sides showing the same plays called flagrant on other guards.
But this was honestly, I'm not going to share this whole clip because I don't know how much she wants the video of her basically crying on the court to be circulated around, but she walks down to the end of the court. You can tell that she's in pain. You can tell that there's something wrong. She goes to the, what's it called, like stanchion or whatever, the thing that holds up the basketball hoop on the other end. She hits her head on it. She is fighting back tears and she walks straight over to the bench. Now, when she goes over to the bench, she starts crying, and I've honestly never seen Caitlin Clark cry on the court except when she lost the national championship game. She keeps it together no matter what is happening.
Even analysts neutral to the hype began using one phrase over and over: star protection gap. Every new bruise made that gap harder to ignore. The Sheldon play hit YouTube before the fourth quarter buzzer. Frame by frame, nerds measured hip rotation, foot placement, and acceleration. Half concluded it was routine incidental contact. The other half called it reckless at best, malicious at worst. Intent, however, was never the real issue.
This is how you treat your prized possession? This is how you treat your cash cow? This is how you treat your savior? This is how you treat the young woman responsible for elevating this unbelievably rancid turd?
The issue is negligence. Clark got knee-checked in open space, and every referee on the floor swallowed the whistle. That silence became the loudest sound of the night, echoing into every studio debate and comment thread for the next 48 hours. 3 days later, the Fever released a 2-sentence bombshell. Caitlin Clark would withdraw from the three-point contest and rest her body during the All-Star game.
So, the big way they were able to neutralize Caitlin Clark, and I think it was almost an issue with Stephanie White as much as anything, is they were manhandling her. They were manhandling Caitlin Clark early in that game. Like, they had two hands on her. They were fully getting into the we are grabbing her and we don't really care. Like, that was their goal. Their goal was they were out there to maul Caitlin Clark. They had they had absolutely no intention of doing anything other than mauling Caitlin Clark. Like, they were not out there to play legit defense. They were there to maul Caitlin Clark as much as they possibly could.
Translation: the main draw just left the circus. Ticket aggregators forecast a 20% walk-up drop. ABC rushed to recut promo packages. Local hotels revised occupancy estimates. Indianapolis had planned for a coronation. Instead, the league's signature weekend suddenly felt like a banquet headlined by an empty chair. Clark never complains publicly, so her brother did it for her. In one tweet, he torched the letting them play mantra and hit 4 million impressions before breakfast. Sponsors:
Well, Casey, why are you acting so surprised? We've always known that the WNBA doesn't know how to treat their stars properly. I'm not talking about the WNBA and the egregious way they treat the Great White Hope. Not only does this dump not know how to create stars, the disrespect, the outright defiance, it is coming from the president of the Indiana Felines, which means this is coming from Caitlin Clark's own team.
Until then, blissfully quiet, called the league office asking how a primetime investment wound up crying on national TV. Message boards swung from meme culture to alarm bells, coalescing under a 2-word plea: protect Clark. Even rival fan bases admitted the optics were brutal. If the WNBA couldn't safeguard its box office magnet, what did that say to future talents eyeing Europe or the NBA's G League for stability?
This Stephanie White versus Caitlin Clark can turn very nasty, and let's really see which way do you think the organization is going to go. You got to remember, Kelly Crosskoff and Amber Cox, they out here trying to sell the Indiana Fever as Apple. Apple, man, y'all ain't no goddamn app. Y'all not even Boost Mobile. You do realize this franchise didn't make the playoffs for over 10 years until Caitlin Clark got there. You do realize Kelsey Mitchell was winning like 6 games a year as a pro. She was winning like 6 games a year. This ain't no Apple. This ain't no Apple. Caitlin Clark is the Apple. I don't know what you talking about. You over here trying to make it seem like the Fever is what's in. No, Caitlin Clark makes the Fever what's in. If wherever she go or went, that is what was gonna be what was popping. It's not y'all.
Finger pointing spread like wildfire, but 3 culprits stood tallest. Officiating, flag happy on technical taunts, strangely chill on hip checks. Review triggers exist. They simply weren't used. Fever coaching and scheduling. Clark logged heavy minutes, flew coast to coast for PR hits, then got yanked in and out mid-games as if she were a second-year bench guard, never a cash cow centerpiece nursing a chronic strain. League marketing machine. They sold the Clark phenomenon with every camera angle available, yet failed to pair that spotlight with a basic start.
Gets pushed around, thrown to the floor during games, and teammates are standing there just looking, not doing anything. Sophie Cunningham will do something. While other players get a microphone put in front of them, doing their media interviews, while they regurgitate the same nonsense, the same word salad that Stephanie White lies says, Sophie Cunningham will say, no.
Treatment protocols the NBA adopted years ago, restricted media windows, personalized recovery staff, automatic flagrant reviews on high-velocity collisions. Everyone ate from the golden goose. Nobody built her a nest. Groin injuries aren't sprained wrists. They linger, tighten, and rewrite running mechanics. Standard recovery? 3 to 6 weeks of controlled rest. Play through it and the body compensates. Hamstring strains, back spasms, cascading issues that turn a star into a memory.
You think all this merch and all these nationally televised games is happening because you're the Indiana Fever? You're Apple? Stop it, man. That's that delusional stuff. Get out of Delulu land, Amber Cox and Kelly Crosskoff. Salute to all the fans who was bombing on Kelly Crosskoff on Twitter, and that's why she had to delete it.
Clark has already rushed one comeback this season. The tape of her crumpling against Connecticut suggests the price just doubled. Doctors off record say the next bad step could push rehab into months, not weeks. For a rookie whose jersey sales outpace some NBA vets, that timeline isn't just personal pain, it's league-wide panic. Best case scenario, Clark shuts down until after the Olympic break.
Speaking of the referees getting into it with the players, Caitlin Clark had an interaction with the referee, and we still don't know what this referee actually said, but I also want to show you guys this clip. So as you can see, Caitlin's going back and forth with this referee number 39, and then he says something where she actually has to be held back. She gets so upset that she has to be held back by one of her coaches.
Fever manage expectations, and the W quietly rewrites flagrant review policy. Worst case, she suits up early, chases a playoff seed, and the same groin tears under playoff adrenaline. The first path costs short-term ratings, but preserves a decade of future highlights. The second wins a news cycle and risks the league's marquee storyline evaporating before year 2. Execs
New things come. I feel like the attention and, whatever that is, I don't want to say I get used to it, but to an extent, like you do, and you just accept that's how it's going to be. People are going to criticize you. People are going to praise you, no matter what it is. When you're playing on this level and you have this type of spotlight, whether it's me, whether it's any professional athlete that's at the top of their game, that's just how it's going to be. So,
eye poke. Owie. But let me say this.
I think you just continue to build on what you want to get better at. And I think that's probably the greatest challenge at times is, everybody else has expectations of you, but at the end of the day, there's no higher expectation than what I have of myself.
Tonight, the Fever welcome in the Connecticut Sun with Commissioner's Cup title hopes on the line.
Feeling good. Big one for us after a good win. Got to come out with a lot of energy again. Should be a great crowd, so it's going to be fun.
know which option is smarter. The question is whether ticket pressure wins the argument again. One missed call, one unchecked collision, and an all-star weekend built to launch women's basketball into orbit lost its gravity. Clark's tears under the basket were more than pain. They were a mirror held to every decision-maker who confused relentless exposure with responsible care. If the fever, the officials, and the league office keep spinning, the next tape we watch could be a season-ending press conference.
What really got this escalated was that was called a flagrant. Those two were technicals. Charles got a technical, and then Mabry for what we thought should have been.
Ari McDonald. What a pickup she has been. Came in as a injury replacement player, and there's Sophie Cunningham, the rookie out of France.
Megan had not even a shot at getting back and getting in front of her in transit. One thing you know about Tina Charles, she has every shot in her arsenal.
Now Sheldon, a height disadvantage against Howard. Yeah, good recognition. Another pass inside. Good job by Mitchell to gather.
Back to that facilitation of Leah Boston right here. She is reading the cutters, fakes the handoff, and good read by Kelsey Mitchell.
Clark off glass.
Good heavy by Lee, gives her and learns from her.
Passing the courts to some degree young talent. That is the first points for Caitlin.
The choice sits in plain sight. Wrap your star in the protection every other major league grants, or watch her and the surge she sparked flicker out. Drop Protect Clark in the comments if you think the W needs to draw that line today. Smash subscribe for updates on her medical scans, policy votes, and whether All-Star Weekend 2026 finally gets the headline it deserved this year.
Because I just finished watching the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game, and I swear every time these two teams go up against one another, something happens, and it's honestly never good. It's never good, and of course the biggest story of the night is the story that Caitlin Clark seems to have re-injured her groin. So I'm just going to show you guys the clip. So as you guys can see here, she is dribbling down, she plants her foot, she passes the ball to Kelsey Mitchell on the back door, and then when she is running back on the other end of the court, it seems like she's grabbing her groin.
Because the story of Caitlin Clark isn't an injury log, it's a litmus test. Pass it, and the league levels up. Fail, and the next generation of phenoms might look elsewhere for a future. Until then, keep one eye on the sideline and remember, a single swallowed whistle can change an entire sport.